Let me get started. I'm Jody Frost. I'm president of NAP, and my partner in crime, my president-elect, is not here with me today. He unfortunately is in a good way celebrating the life of his mom today by Zoom. So he apologizes. He normally would be with us. He was with us for the initial orientation, but I have a philosophy that family always comes first no matter what. So we all pray that his family and everything have a very good life celebration for his mom. And I also want to make sure that I take the time to introduce a few people on this webinar so you know who they are and you get to know them. Ashley Peter. Ashley is with AMR, and she's one of two very close partnerships with us. She manages the forum, with the co-chair of the forum, along with a number of other things, all of our technology, social media, the Nap Times, the web, etc. She is a guru of all that. Joanne Weisley, and Joanne, if you would just raise your hand or hit the raise, there you go. Joanne Weisley is our VP for Public Policy who's joining us today. So as we get into the discussion, if you have questions, you're certainly more than welcome to ask Joanne. We also have one of our chairs of our academy. I believe that Evelyn Klingerman is on. There's Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn is chair of the Nursing Academy. Thank you for joining us, Evelyn, today. I'm looking, I know there were several others who were planning on joining us. I'm trying to see if they're there. Oh, David Itzkoff. Thank you. David is here. He is the chair of the Dentistry Academy. Thank you so much, David, for being with us. And have I missed anybody else who is one of the chairs or vice chairs of any of our academies who's on? I know that Andrea Feifel, if she didn't have any conflicts for the PT Academy, and Caroline Goulet was going to join us if they could. So with that, this follow-up webinar is the first time we've ever done this. And it really is a dialogue. It's to check in on all of you. You had the initial orientation, which was about our infrastructure and governance and processes and much more of the, nuts and bolts. So you had an idea of the academies and who you are and what you fit. Today is really going to be more about topics and questions that I have for you. I'll let you know we are recording. You are currently on mute, and you can just raise your hand to talk, and we're going to unmute you. We want you to be able to talk. This is a very informal meeting for all of you to join us. Okay, so today's topics that we've put together, and we can add, but for today, the topics we're going to talk about it's checking in on you. We have a check-in question to see how you're doing. The organization academies to see where you are, if you've made any connections. Have you had a chance to look at resources, what we have, opportunities to connect and volunteer, and some other questions. Never too soon, you can actually nominate now others. We're going to talk a little about that. And then we have a question for you about what is a value proposition? Why be a member of NAP, and what is it you want in the future for value? We really want to hear from you. So these topics are basically questions, and I'm going to ask the questions and open it up for everybody to talk. And if you would introduce your name and then what profession or what academy you're in, so people can begin to get familiar with who you are and your connectivity at least. And I know some of you, they're all from different academies. So my first question is really about the fourth aim of the quadruple aim. It's about self-care, given everything going on with social unrest and social injustice, as well as COVID. And I'm a product of the 60s. And I have to tell you, I'm living the 60s all over again. And I am in despair because we have not learned. For me, it's very depressing. So I'd like to know from all of you, how have you been taking care of your health and well-being through both of these? When I originally wrote this, that wasn't happening, and now that's happening. So I'm interested, what are you doing for you personally in maintaining your health and your well-being and your sanity? And the floor is open. I'll start off to get us going. I do a lot of gardening. My yard has never looked better in the last 10 years because I've spent all my free time going out there from pulling weeds and taking out my hostility on my plants and whatever. So the yard looks phenomenal because everything has now been taken care of. And at the same time, it gives me really good health and feeling and wellness. And it's a bit of a zen, the garden and things of that nature. Others willing to share?
So can you hear me? This is Leanne Frick. I'm in the Physical Therapy Academy.
Yep, Leanne, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm not sure if I'm maintaining my health and wellness or not, but here's what I'm trying to do. So I'm a runner. I do a lot of running and had several races canceled due to COVID-19 over the last couple of months, and but have been maintaining running at least locally, and plan on getting on a plane in the morning. I'm headed to Lake Tahoe to run. The race was canceled and made virtual, but we're going anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. But running, and also I have a 2.5-year-old nephew who I try to see as often as I can, and that kind of keeps me centered. But it's been difficult. It's and just trying to be in a scenario where everyone in the world needs kindness. Trying to be kind to myself as well.
Terrific, thank you. And I know you must have about 7 different masks packed to go, and no matter where you are, you have a mask that matches your running outfit, of course.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Others who'd like to share for your health and well-being, at least the best you're trying to do.
This is Terry Cheneau. I'll jump in and tag in after Leanne because I'm a runner too. I'm Terry Cheneau in Jacksonville, Florida. I am in the Nursing Academy. And I completed the New York Marathon this fall and just wondered if COVID might have been brewing there at that time. But I've taken it down this summer to just walking about 7 o'clock around a lake in my neighborhood. And I've noticed some other neighbors have gotten out too. So I guess everybody is doing their job virtually and then going out and trying to get some air and walking too. It's good to see everybody.
You too, and congratulations on the marathon. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mia Carey. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in the Veterinary Medicine Academy. And for me, stand-up paddleboarding has been something that hits multiple dimensions of well-being, including being outside and physical and exercise. So my husband and I are trying to do that a little more often.
Are you near water?
We are about a mile from our house. There's a lake, so it's a real easy, and even when easy to social distance, and it's been wonderful, actually.
Terrific. You must have very good balance.
Hi, this is Janet Kinky. I'm in the Audiology Academy, and I'm in Maplewood, New Jersey. I've been doing a lot of walking too, and a lot of the time when I walk, I chat with friends, which is makes the walking even more relaxing for me because I get to catch up with people and keep in touch with people who I can't be spending time with. So that's what I've been doing.
Excellent. People are getting much healthier. Either COVID-19, they're losing 19 pounds or they're putting on 19 pounds. I'm not sure which way it's going. Anybody else want to share?
I started a new direction. This is Terry Logmani from Indianapolis. About a block from my house, someone opened up a shop called Urban Meditation, in which you go in and you lie on a hot lava rock floor, which is amazing, and they put on guided meditations. So they say it's as good as running 2 miles. So that's what I'm counting on.
And Terry, what academy are you with?
Oh, physical therapy.
Physical therapy. Thank you so much. Hey, that's a great way to, relax, and it's meditation or medication, whichever that might be. Any others interested in sharing?
Hey, this is Pat Nellis. I'm in St. Louis, and I have been doing a lot outdoors. That's where I find my peace of mind, and thank God the weather has been really nice. The garden is wonderful, but I've managed to create this nice outdoor haven. Living in the city, so it's not as easy as one might think. And then I have actually been able to catch up on some reading that I've always wanted to do. So between outdoor time and escaping in my books, I'm doing well.
Patricia, what academy are you with?
Occupational therapy.
Thank you so much. And I'm assuming that these are not technical books. These are enjoyment books.
They are, but some of my interests, like economics, and are probably not what a lot of other people would want to read, but I enjoy them.
Terrific. Thank you. I know who to go to for economic advice for the organization.
Well, I don't know about that, but.
Anybody else interested in sharing? And don't worry, we have more questions, so you'll all get a chance to be heard.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeannie Copeland and I'll chime in from the Speech Pathology Academy. Since we've had PT and OT representation, we gotta get speech in there, right?
Right.
So I am from the Midwest, Kansas, and I have been a long-term exerciser. I've had a routine for years. My husband has been trying to lose weight and he's been doing a great job. But during this time, he has been joining me in some of my morning workouts. And then on the weekends, we have a 9-year-old daughter. And so about a month or a month and a half ago, we started including her in one of our weekend workouts. So now we have a family workout on the weekend, and we use one of those like streaming apps where we can choose the workout. And so we found some fun ones that are appropriate for family members. And I wouldn't say that my daughter is in love with it, but I will say that she does it with coercion. So
I'll tell you what, when she gets older, will probably never forget that.
I agree.
She'll never forget. Yeah. That's a great way to bond a family. I'm going to move on to another question, a couple more questions, and we'll keep asking. This is about organization and academies. So since the member orientation, and that was actually almost 3 months ago, March, April, May, June, yeah. How have you connected with NAP as an organization? And the other question is, do you know how to connect with the leadership and membership of your academy if you wanted to? How would you go about doing that? So either one of those questions, if you're comfortable in answering, how have you connected with NAP as an organization? Or do you know how to, and have you connected with your leadership in your academy in any way, or with your membership of your academy?
This is Tony Breitbach. I'm athletic trainer out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I work at St. Louis University. We've been working together with a group of associate members in our profession to actually develop a proposal for a new academy in NAP. So we're pretty excited about it. Hopefully we'll have it all ready to submit by next week. So we've had some great meetings with the associate member group, and then we've put together a group of people who've really collaborated nicely on this proposal. So we're really excited about it.
Tony, well, we are very excited about your proposal coming forward for NAP, for athletic trainers, and joining the other academies as a team, but also the Associate Collaborative Group, so you all know, is a new group for NAP. It was going to officially launch face-to-face in March, and it has launched. But it's launched virtually, and they now have a representative who will be a non-voting member on our council who will be coming to join us. And it turns out the individual is actually an anthropologist. She's very interesting. So, and has an interest in interprofessional anthropology, which is really, I can't wait to hear more about that. So that's a group, and you'll hear more about that. There are 3 other professions also working on initiatives to perhaps become and submit a proposal for a new academy as well in the future. So that's something going on, and in our lifetime, we hope to have NAP become a larger organization because it'll better represent the teams that are part of healthcare and health systems. Other comments or other answers to the questions or perceptions?
This is Susan Meyer in the Pharmacy Academy. Just to let everybody know, our academy chair, Heather Congdon, has reached out and scheduled an academy meeting for July 14th.
So that'll be great, and hopefully all the new members will be there, so you really have a chance to voice and get to connect with their members in that meeting as well. And I understand that Pharmacy also has a newsletter that they share as well that she's been developing. So not all academies do the same thing. And if there's something another academy does that you would like your academy to start, you certainly can ask or bring up new ideas. You have the new energy and the new initiative to keep us going with new sparks. So we appreciate that. Others?
This is Lynn Jackson. I'm with the Social Work Academy.
Say again, Lynn, we're fading a little.
This is Lynn Jackson. I'm with the Social Work Academy.
There you go.
And so I because I went to the conference last year, so I wasn't a member yet, but they reached out to me and embraced me. So I got to meet Iris and some of the others there in the academy. So they've reached out again. So that part was really nice, even just getting to know people ahead of time and helping me to feel confident about even going forward with my application.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I had a little trouble hearing it. It was going in and out, so I do apologize. Anybody else have something to share about either connecting with NAP or with your academy?
Hi, Jody. Hi, this is Stephanie Jevis. I'm an athletic trainer, and I volunteered for the service project subcommittee for the conference, and that's a new committee. And we're actually meeting next week to get started on those endeavors.
Terrific. And thank you so much for volunteering, Stephanie. This is a brand new initiative for NAP. It's our first one. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of excitement about what this will be. And I know you're going to get a lot of people who want to volunteer and be a part of it. So thank you for stepping up. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any others?
Sarah, I'm Amy Perrin. I'm with the physical therapy and group, and they've been wonderful. We've had an orientation just for physical therapy, and then we had our first meeting. And then I've also been matched up with a buddy, so I have a contact person, which I think has been wonderful as well.
Is that buddy somebody who is, I won't say mentoring, but shepherding you through the processes?
Yes, she's checking in on me, and she's available to me for questions or to guide. So yeah, just nice to have a name and one person to contact.
That's
have
terrific.
a little notebook where I'm taking all the names to try to figure out kind of the org chart a little bit, because that can be a little overwhelming.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. And I do want to let you know that Caroline Goulet, who's the vice chair, of the PT Academy, has also joined us. So I know she heard your comment. Any others who are interested in sharing?
Yeah, it's Hossein Khalili from University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm part of the Nursing Academy. I also had a chance to join the new orientations from Nursing Academy. It was very helpful. And as many of people are aware, so the Nursing Academy has the boot camp, and there are great communication and discussions happening in the Nursing Academy. So very pleased with that.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And thank you, Evelyn, for hosting that and bringing the new members into the Nursing Academy, which, if people don't know, that is our largest academy right now that we have. And it's not surprising, because there's probably the largest profession is nursing in our country as well. Any others who wish to offer comments before we go to the next one? You get to pick one, but you have to pick at least one to comment on. That way we get to hear from everybody. So the next one has 3 questions. It's about NAP resources and NAP research. So the 3 questions are: have you had an opportunity to visit the website and check out available resources, such as our position statements that are there, that are noted? We actually have COVID resources that are available, and they actually come from us from the Global Forum, and they're much broader. They're actually international, some of the resources that they provide, and they're much more global in nature and interprofessional. Did you have a chance to respond to the recent NAP member survey that had 2 components? One was on professional development and one was on advocacy or public policy. And have you had an opportunity to register for our journal, JIEP, which is free to members, and read any of the articles? You do have to go in and register the first time and put your member number in, but then you can actually automatically have the articles you want to have come up into your inbox on a regular basis, or what's new. So those are the 3 questions. Opening up the floor. You know, this scares me when nobody's answering any of these 3.
I can do this one. I'm Michelle Zemsky-Dineen, and I am with the speech pathology group, and I have been very engaged with the journal articles. I'm actually working on my PhD in interprofessional healthcare studies, so I've been tooling around in there. I did not know that I could get stuff sent to me, so that's exciting, but I have been doing a lot of research through the website.
How do you like the journal?
It's good stuff. I mean, there's a lot. So, I mean, I'm just working on whittling down what I need, but definitely lots of good resources to find things.
So if people know, JIEP is an online journal, and it's co-shared with an academic institution. as one of the co-editors, and Al Rundio, who's our VP for Scholarly Advancement and the co-editor for JEP, and he deals with all the practice side of the articles. And the other editor, Devin Nichols, who actually is also a member of the of NAP, and he deals with the education side. So they work collaboratively on those articles. And right now, it's about 50-50. About 50% are practice-oriented articles and 50% are academic, which is a big change for where we are. The other thing is he's always looking for individuals interested in being manuscript reviewers, article reviewers. So that's another way for those of you who enjoy doing that. He definitely would be happy, and he's looking for people in the different professions and academies to support. And one of the things about doing reviewing manuscripts is you learn to be a better author when you review the manuscripts. It really teaches you the flaws you see in others. It's funny, you don't recognize them in your own writing, but you certainly see them in others, and it's a really good teaching tool. Others who've gotten to do any of these three?
I guess I'll go next. This is Renee Fabas. I'm also from the Speech Language Pathology Academy. I will answer yes. I had the opportunity to visit NAP's website. Yes, I responded to the survey, and I did not register for the journal. I didn't realize I could, but interestingly enough, I reviewed articles for the journal. So, and I think it's a great journal.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And if you go in, there is a tab on the website that says resources, the one that says JIEP Journal. And it provides directions for what you have to do initially the first time to get in. And then you get, you can get in anytime you need to. Anybody else?
This is Pat with OT, and I have visited the website. I did not sign up for JIEP though, and I will do that. I think we've submitted an article and got it published a year or two ago, but not that. And I did do the survey.
Thank you so much. For all of you who completed the survey, we so appreciate it. It's one of our annual surveys. And for our VP for Professional Development, Sina Haynes, it helps her and her committee customize the free continuing education offerings to the needs specifically of our members. What do they want? So last year they had, I think about 9 of them they hosted, and 3 were around a collaborative practice models. 3 were around advocacy, and they were preparing us to go to the Hill, and Joanne Wisely was leading with those. And then 3 were on interprofessional research about grants, available grants. One was IPR.G, Hossein, who was part of a group for interprofessional research.global. He and his group actually presented the findings from some work they did to us on interprofessional research from a global perspective. So they're looking to identify what people want for this year and the future. So that survey helped with that. The second part is around advocacy and what our messaging is going to be in 2021. So we were looking to our memberships to help us begin to narrow what could be many, many topics to something more specific. Any others? And I'm hoping those of you who haven't registered for the journal when you get off will go and do that. That was a prompt to get you to do that. How many?
Rudy Johnson, could I just share? This has been very helpful for me because I'm in Los Angeles. I'm from the Nursing Academy, and I've been very entrenched in the COVID world. So this really prompted me to try to get, more engrossed in the dialogue here. And so, thank you for the information, because I too didn't know about registering for the journal, and I'm also interested in journal review and the policy committee, so I'll follow up on that with the appropriate people. Thank you.
You bet. Joanne Wisely is on this call. She just heard you.
Okay.
So, she is as a public policy committee, so you don't need to worry about that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And I see Angela Shoup, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Angela Shoup is vice chair?
Yes, audiology vice chair.
Yeah, I want to make sure I had vice chair of audiology before I spoke, but also representing audiology who joined us. So thank you for coming and joining us, Angela.
Thank you.
So the other thing is, if you haven't had a chance under resources, we are putting together COVID resources, and a lot of those may not be specifically in your profession. They are more global in nature, and so they begin to maybe perhaps add to the wealth of resources you get that are profession specific, but they're really broad. And some of them are innovative and creative models that they've done in the practice for COVID, and some of them are innovative models in education and for faculty and for clinical education. So I encourage you to take a look at what those are. They may not be the same ones you've seen in your own profession. We intentionally have selected ones that were global and not profession specific, but could apply to all professions. Anybody else on this question before we go to the next one? Okay. So the next one, and somebody already peeked at this one, the question is volunteer and connection. Have you volunteered for any NAP or academy committees, work groups, task forces, anything of that nature? And have you had an opportunity, or did you register for our virtual forum sessions, the first two? One is a patient panel, and one was a keynote speaker who really simplified some of our language for us. And there's one coming up on June 22nd with a physician in community-based practice who's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be intentionally a very interactive session. You can join those three live, and you also will have an opportunity to go back and review them at any point in time if you could not see the live session. So those two questions, either volunteering for anything or had a chance to either register or listen to any of the sessions from the forum that are virtual.
Hi, Jody. This is Kathy Moran. Sorry.
Oh, Kathy.
Hi, I'm with the Nursing Academy, and I did volunteer with the help of my colleagues for the Professional Development Committee. So I'm looking forward to interacting with my colleagues in this way.
Thank you so much. And you're going to get to see the results of that survey.
I am. I heard about
it. Yeah, can't wait. I haven't even seen them yet, so you have it ahead of me. Others, and that includes academy, anything within your academy that you've been asked or volunteered to be a part of.
Yeah, hi, this is Angela Patterson. I'm in the Occupational Therapy Academy. And I have volunteered on our membership committee and then the larger NAP membership, which has been very informative to get involved and volunteer as a new member, because I think I've learned a lot about at least behind the scenes of membership, especially through some of the rubric changes that we've been processing.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing a little bit about that rubric. And that's the next question. So we'll make sure that people understand about that, but you have a jump start on that, and appreciate you learning and stepping in. This organization, you're all distinguished as to who you are, and you're have been successful in your own profession and in the interprofessional spaces. There isn't a waiting period where you have to sort of pay your dues before you volunteer here. NAP currently has about 35% to 38% of its members actively engaged in some aspect. And those numbers continue to increase. And it's by design. We're looking for people to be engaged and to help to make this organization better. What makes it special is the volunteers and its members. Anybody else who's volunteered or actually gotten to register for the forum?
Judy, this is Joanne. Could I just jump in a little bit?
You bet.
Okay, thank you. With respect to the Public Policy Committee, I think for new members, it's important for them to know that it isn't just the advocacy. Advocacy is what you see and what we do. It's very visual, and that's the front line part of it. But with the Public Policy Committee, we have actually broken that committee. It's a very large committee. It's probably the largest of the NAP committees. We've broken it into 3 subcommittees. So we are constantly reviewing and looking for research, evidence-based information with respect that we can use as references in documents when we send comments or we take a position from an advocacy perspective. We also have review constantly going on of pieces of legislation or regulation or policy. So there's a lot of behind the scenes. So if yes, definitely. And certainly next year at the forum, we expect everybody, we want everybody to go to the Hill. Not everybody will, but everybody, you're all welcome to plan to go to Capitol Hill and to speak with the legislators. But there are opportunities to be involved in the Public Policy Committee behind the scenes on an ongoing basis. And just because you commit to one subcommittee doesn't mean you can't be active in any other activity.
Joanne, thank you so much for sharing that and clarifying. One of the groups, the Outreach Public Policy Committee, actually works with the research group, and they actually draft some position statements or policies, which then go to the EC and eventually onto the council. But we just recently have one that is going to be tweaked a little bit, but they're doing one on telehealth actually. And it has to do with some of the professions who, once COVID is changing, they may take them off the ability to have telehealth. So those include OT, speech, PT, a number of them. And the organization is supporting that they need to be able to have telehealth regardless. So one of the things I will share, and Joanna certainly knows this, in this organization, when we have policies, they are from an interprofessional space. So we do not advocate for any single profession within NAP, but we advocate for things that are in the interprofessional spaces, because each of you have your individual organizations who do that. This is unique that it's an interprofessional. Thank you so much. Let me go to the next slide.
Can I ask a question real quick? Sorry.
Sure.
If I missed it, is there a formal way to request serving on a committee? Because I looked on the website and I found the committee, but there's no way, or maybe I just don't see where to say, hey, I'd be interested in volunteering.
You bet. Is that Valerie?
Yes.
Okay, so Valerie, what happens is normally that nothing's normal, but typically what happened is at the forum there would have been fish bowls, and you put your business card in, the committees that you'd like to be a part of, and then we give those to the committee chairs or the VPs, and they actually call and include and find out what you want. Because we didn't do that, we put out a call in NAP Times, but as a new member, my hunch is you were sort of like, I'm not paying attention to that, or I don't think I can volunteer for that, or I don't even know what I'm volunteering for, I can't do that yet. And all of those would have been certainly a reasonable piece. So now, if you want, we certainly, you can let Ashley or Melanie know, and they'll get you in touch with the person who oversees or manages that committee, and happy to find a way to include you. There are only several standing committees that are limited. One is membership. So membership has a representative from each academy, and one member from each academy from the membership committee. That's very specific because we need a voice from every academy to do that. Whereas public policy, the forum, professional development has seeks at least one person from every academy, because we really want, when we make the forum and create the continuing ed professional development, we want to make sure it's relevant to all of our professions. So we need a representative from all of them, that it has interest for veterinary medicine, as well as dentistry, as well as physical therapy, OT, etc. So if you have an interest in an area, you are welcome to contact, and they will pass that along. If you have an interest in policy, Joanne Weissley is on this call and is listening. Sina Haynes is a VP for professional development. Al Rundio is looking for people who want to be involved on the Scholarly Advancement Committee to connect people for scholarly advancement. Membership.
Could you maybe post some of their emails online? Because I looked on the website, and under committees, it has names, but it doesn't have any contact information for the people you've mentioned.
You bet. I can follow up with Ashley, and we can deal with that. Okay, Ashley?
I found Ashley Peter.
Ashley Peter, who's right there. The woman in front of the screen with a little, the theater there.
I found her email. Thank you.
You bet, anytime. So the next one is about nominating your colleagues. You're a member, okay? And you can nominate any of your colleagues. And I wondered if any of you had thought about colleagues you work with in your profession, in other professions that are part of NAP, who have a passion for interprofessional care, scholarship, and advocacy. And the other thing is, did you know, and if not, you can go to your academy. For the first time in 2021, we actually have a standard rubric where each academy does its own customized weightings based on the profession and the academy, because they vary. And I'll tell you why in a minute, to assess them for both honorific and interprofessional criteria. They are 50-50. So 50% of our criteria are about honorific within your profession, or distinguished in your profession, recognized. And the other 50% is interprofessional care or scholarship or advocacy or education. And the criteria are the same. They are weighted differently in each academy, partly because of where the professions are in their own transition. Not every profession is the same in interprofessional practice. Some are farther and some are probably less so. And I can use an example because David will be okay with that. Dentistry is typically has been an intra-professional. So they have the dental hygienist, they have a dental tech, they have the dentist. They often work with some other physicians, but it has not historically been a strong interprofessional profession. It is getting much more interprofessional. But there are others that are in the spaces. If I look at rehab medicine, PTOT, speech language pathology, as three, they have been in an interprofessional space for a long time. So some of them are farther along and they're weighting them differently. And that's the prerogative of the Academy. So do any of you know about that rubric, or has it been shared? And you certainly can ask an Academy. Or have you begun to think about nominating, or any of you actually nominated somebody on the website?
So this is Valerie again. Sorry to hog the mic. Anthony and I and some others are working on an application that will be submitted soon for a new AT Academy. And so we've looked at this because you need to have a certain number of individuals who meet the rubric. My question was, when somebody, you nominate somebody or somebody nominates you, it's not always apparent within a resume, whether or not something was an interprofessional activity. And I've gone through and added some annotations within mine. Is that helpful? Or, does it need to be an activity that it's just obvious it was interprofessional,
Okay.
Or is it helpful to add an annotation like this was a collaboration between these different types of groups? Or
Valerie, that's excellent. Adding the annotation to make it easier for the people who are reviewing you within the Academy is wonderful. And you're absolutely right. You can't even tell unless you had the article and it lists all the authors, and there's multiple authors and they're from different professions. Do you know that that's an interprofessional scholarly endeavor? It could be all the same profession from the same institution. So any place where people can sort of note that it is an interprofessional activity, or they did this jointly, or it was collaborating, or they taught a course that was collaborative, it's with two other professions, they do case conferences, anything like that is very, very helpful for the people in the Academy who are doing the peer reviewing and have an opportunity to do that. And it doesn't mean that in the future you won't be doing that as well as one of the members of the Academy. So definitely anything that people can put. And one of the things is, if you nominate, there is on the website some hints about what to tell people when you nominate, and some things to share with them. One of the things I do is I actually follow up with an email. I let them know that they're going to be receiving something from NAP. They've been nominated. I let them know that there is 50% is distinction in your profession and 50% is interprofessional, that they need to be explicit about those things that are interprofessional in their work as well as in their practice or other types of things. And I share with them a little bit of the categories from the rubric. So they have an idea, and the application does follow that. They have an idea what that entails, and they know what they're involved. I will share with you, the last three nominees wrote back to me and said, what are the expectations for engagement in this organization? Which, by the way, made me smile. And so I told them, here are all the ways you can get engaged if you so choose. So three of them were asking the question, if I choose to be a member of this, are there expectations for engagement? Because that's what I want to do. And I think we may be getting that mindset that if people join, they're actually thinking about, and we want them engaged. It's not just something you stick on your resume and we don't hear from you, because you won't stay active and you won't stay engaged if you don't get to connect. So now you're all going to go back to your academies and say, can I see that rubric, please? So remember, you can nominate within your profession, you can nominate across professions. And there are several levels. So the person might be a fellow, had more than 10 years, meet the criteria. They may be a professional member. And by the way, professional members are welcome in this organization. They are the future. Some of us are getting old and are going to be retiring, and that you don't want a bunch of old cronies doing this all the time. We need the energy and the blood that all of you bring. But the other thing is, we are developing and working on mentoring programs for the professional member to help them go from professional to fellow when they're ready and when they're at the point in their career, et cetera. And meanwhile, they have such a great opportunity in this organization to be a part of and to be mentored by other people, so if they so choose. So are you starting that list already of nominees? You can nominate anytime. And I tell people, just if it's real easy. The form is your name, your academy, and who you are, and then the name of the person, their email, their organization, their title, and a phone or contact information, and that's it. That's all you need. Any questions on this question?
Hi, Jody.
Jody, I just
Scott.
Whoop, one at a time.
Okay. Jody, this is Linda Scott.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, from University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I'm in the Nursing Academy. And I actually did nominate someone. It's within nursing, but I did proceed. And I did take a look at the criteria and the elements on the site, because one of the recommendations were also to mentor that individual in their nomination. And so the information was very helpful. So no, we'll see what the outcome will be. But again, the information on the website was very helpful.
And thank you for nominating, and thank you for stepping up for the first time to do that. That's excellent. We so appreciate that. And there's so many of you that you know, and places you go, and when you start talking about it, of people who are interested in any of the academies. We have one more question before we have an open Q&A. This is the one I think that's going to get everybody started for me. If you had a magic wand, what would you wish NAP could provide to enhance the value of your membership? And the second one, either one, is what do you need from NAP leadership to facilitate your connection with members? And that's all members. Those are the two questions right now, because our goal is to continue to get you connected. You're connecting as a cohort, which is great, but we want you to get connected with others within the organization. So the magic wand, what could we do to enhance the value of your membership, make it even more valuable? And how can we help you connect? By the way, we asked this question of our current members too, I might add. Well, while you're thinking, let me tell you about a project that's underway that's going to help with the connection piece. There's a group currently known as the Registry. We don't know if the name is going to stick, but we're looking at a platform where it would take you no more than 10 minutes to enter information in your area of expertise, whether it would be public policy or education or practice or scholarship or research. And there will be some 5 questions that you'll answer, only 5. And then we're hoping that the database is searchable. You can go in, into the system and actually search for people in NAP who have some common interest that you do, and start connecting you, whether it's in education or public policy or research, et cetera. So that system, we're hoping, they're working on the questions now and working on the platform. We hope sometime in 2021 to be able to launch that and get people connected to start being able to do some interprofessional cross work across academies. By just putting in your areas of expertise and finding somebody else's and beginning to connect. Very simple. Yep.
This is Rachel Johnson Krug from University of Mary, and I am in athletic training. And that is exactly what I was thinking when you talked about this question, as a way to be able to meet people with like interests to do research or to do practice. So that you can collaborate with a bunch of different professionals instead of those that you know already, expanding those interprofessional experiences and relationships.
Thank you so much. And we originally had one that was a little more involved, and it was taking a long time to complete the form. And one of the stumbling blocks was the length of time to complete the form. So it wasn't that the information wasn't great, it was too much. You need very simple information, and once you make the connection, you all can fit together what you want. So if I said one of my scholarly research areas around interprofessional professionalism, if you knew that and you had an interest, you would connect. You don't need much more than that, like what are all the articles I've written, whatever. That's down the road. You just need to know what are your topic areas. You also might have someone who said, I want to connect and can you mentor me in, maybe they do a very specific method of research. They're superb in Delphi method researches or rationalysis or things of that nature. So we're hoping that this simply will launch, and we're looking at several platforms, but we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. Simple elegance seems to work easier than complex and not functional and utilitarian. What else would you wish for? Or what did you hope for when you joined? I joined and I imagined X would be there.
So this is Valerie again. I wonder if, maybe if there's a way online, especially since we're probably not coming out of our virtual world anytime soon, to say I'm interested in getting involved in this way or that way. And there's some kind of a quick online form you can fill out that then gets filtered to the right people. That might be helpful. Or, somebody who doesn't have enough travel money to make it to the conference, but still wants to get involved.
Yeah, having to pivot and turn our conference into a virtual conference, we are certainly looking at ways that some of the sessions next year might actually not only be on site, but might be virtual for some of the ones that people cannot get to. Although we do hope, my fingers are crossed, that we will be in DC and that everybody will be there for the 40th, since this is going to be an amazing opportunity to get together. And we've waited 2 years to get to see each other on top of it. I can share that our fall leadership planning meeting, which is the executive committee and all the council members and the co-chairs of our forum, we were planning on going to Annapolis, and the executive committee just made the decision for everybody's safety, et cetera, that it's going to be a virtual meeting. So it turns out for the entire year, nobody's going to be face-to-face in this organization, which is really hard because people love interprofessional spaces. So we need to be flexible and adaptable, and we have to all keep growing and learning how to do this. So we'll see what we can do for that, for virtual, but encouraging everybody to come to DC, great location, and it's very close to Capitol Hill to go for advocacy. So you're actually not very far in terms of trying to accommodate everybody getting there. Any other wishes? What I'm going to say is, because this is something, and I recognize you're new, I want you to keep these two questions in mind. And if any time you have ideas, feel free to send me an email, Jody Gandy, Jodygandy, and my name is Frost, but I've kept Gandy from another reason, at Comcast.net. And we will collect those. I keep looking for those. They go back to our leadership. I believe in a shared leadership model. We make better decisions. We're more creative when we work collaboratively and together, and it builds trust, it builds respect, and it builds a lot of fun. So anything that you have, we share, and it goes up the food chain for people to learn more and to figure out how can we be better at what we do. So the last question is open for any questions, reflections, comments, thoughts. This is anything that you want to bring up, burning questions that have not been answered or you've been thinking about, things you want to ask each other.
I have a question regarding the content at the NAP forum, virtual NAP forum. Will there be a time where that'll be kind of released to the members? I think that the timing of it was pretty tough for me personally, just fitting it in. But I definitely would like the chance to view some of those things.
Tony, yeah, it's actually going to stay open until the next forum. So
okay.
The dates were specifically for 3 sessions that were live because our speakers really wanted to have an opportunity to interact.
Okay.
There's going to be another groupings, 2 other groupings, and those are some of our platform presentations, and they're recorded because it's very difficult to do those in the series in the hour. But the first 3, the keynote speakers, which were our keynote speakers for the session, we had to pick a date, and it actually was the date that they could fit it in, since they all, the physicians in practice, so he had another issue. The 2 patients or also patient advocates, so they're busy. So we had to kind of do it when their schedule was open, rather than, unfortunately, when everybody else is available. So you will be able to view the live. Several of them have said you can pose questions and they'll still answer them for you, even offline. So they're worthwhile. The patient panel, I have to tell you, was, blew me away. The two patients were amazing. And anybody, if they saw it, they were amazing. And I have to tell you, learned a lot from their perspective about what we can do differently and what we can do better and how we care for patient-centered care.
Good, thank you very much.
You bet. Other thoughts, comments, questions? Let me ask a general question. How are you all feeling about NAP? Don't take a nap on me.
So this is Leanne Frick again with physical therapy. I'll be honest with you. I think with COVID and it's just been kind of a crazy time, and I'm doing some other things this month. But I've been impressed with NAP. I think I've been on the website, but I haven't. And in communication with Joanne about some volunteering. I really need to get through June and then have some more formal discussions about the opportunities. But the interactions and the connections and these types of calls and communications have been very helpful for me. So thank you for that.
Terrific, thank you. So I'm going to ask a question. Do you want another in the series for this year like this that are designed specifically for this cohort, or the two enough? This is up to you because it really is designed to be for you. And I recognize you guys are on Zoom all the time. You have a lot going on for sure, but I'd like to make sure that if it's meaningful for you, we can do this again.
Jody, this is Michelle Talley. I'm in the Nursing Academy, and I have found this to be extremely helpful today. I feel a little out of sorts because we didn't have our in-person meetings, so I would appreciate another virtual session like this. Thank you.
You bet. And I think for the next one, maybe I'll have all the council chairs be there, so you can have questions across councils and ask questions like that too, and we can broaden the network about how this goes. These first two are just trying to make sure everybody's in alignment and you have information, pertinent information, so you're not obviously left hanging. As normally, this would have all happened and there would have been all kinds of bumpability at the conference and connecting. And so we're bumping through, what do you call this? Networking in virtual spaces. Other thoughts or comments?
Yeah, this is Janet Kinke again. I agree with Michelle wholeheartedly. I've enjoyed coming together for the first two, and I think what you just said, Jody, about bringing in the leaders of each group would be great. I just think this, for me, somebody who isn't very good with names, this is perfect too, even on Zoom, because I get to see people's names and that helps me remember them. But I think that this is, a good way to just keep us engaged and, keep us communicating with each other.
Absolutely. Ashley, are there any comments that are in the chat? Because I can't do that right now with everything else that we ought to bring forward.
There are a few folks that said they had to jump off, and I know a few people reached out to me about issues that are logged into the journal, so I'll be following up with you all after the call on that. I've written down your names.
Thank you. Any comments from our EC members or council members that are here? David and Evelyn, Angela, Joanne, any comments from you about this?
Actually, Jody, I appreciate that. I was just going to jump in just to share that don't ever hesitate if you think something is of your interest and you would like to be involved. Don't hesitate, because you have no idea how much of a gift you are to the organization just by being willing to participate. This is it is a member-run organization. We're here to serve you and to support. So at any time, don't hesitate to just jump in. The only way you're going to know whether it fits for you is to try it. If it doesn't fit, there's maybe something else that might be better fit for you. But give it a try.
Thank you, Joanne. And people do move around to different groups. Evelyn, I see your hand is up.
Yeah. I just first of all want to thank Kathy Moran and any of the other individuals on the call who have already volunteered to be a part of the everyday work where NAP just really, where the message hits the pulse, so to speak, where we're actually doing the work behind the scenes often. But I thank them, and I'm really grateful for Ashley as well, because, you know, Ashley has helped us so much with Basecamp to be able to upload messages and to save our welcome to our new Academy members. So those individuals who weren't able to attend the first time, they were able to access that later. So again, welcome to everyone. And I look forward to this next period of time until we meet in March. So thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. And just to be clear, David, I see you, Basecamp is the communication vehicle, a project management communication that each academy has to connect with its own academy members. They're in different phases of adoption, and Ashley does have a great tutorial. She missed her calling in the radio business, a tutorial about how to navigate the Basecamp. So you may be getting a little more of that in your academies, and we also use it for our different committees, task forces, et cetera. That's how we communicate. David. You're in mute, David. David, you're on mute. But I can lip read. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Much of what I was going to say, I think, has been said, but I will say two things. One is, you guys, you new members are absolutely amazing, and I am unbelievably excited about the idea of working with you. And we were talking briefly before about nominating. I will tell you that I nominated somebody just yesterday. It is a very easy process to do the nominations. So as Jody said, I urge you to find those colleagues who are appropriate and get them involved with us. And I look forward to seeing you all you guys in Washington.
Thank you. Thank you, David. And even think about some of the practitioners you go to. I actually nominated one of my healthcare workers for something because the person is interprofessional. So with that, because I promised I'd end it on time, and it's 2:58, and I'm sort of a stickler about that because it respects and values your time and what you have. So thank you. We appreciate collaborating with you. Based on your current feelings, I think we're going to host another one. We'll figure out another time to do this again. This was a great returning, and we'll do it again interactive with questions. If there's questions you would like to see posed to come from you, I will put them in the slides and pose a question that you would like to pose to the group. So that's the other thing I'm going to ask or offer, that any questions that come from your own cohort that you would like to make sure your cohort gets to answer, send them along and we'll put them in the slide deck, and they'll be one of the questions that we bring for the group. So you actually get to begin to connect with each other a little more. That's okay. Any final comments from you, Ashley? Because I want to make sure Ashley had a chance to say something.
No, I'm great.
Well, you're always great, Ashley.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Definitely. With that, let me stop sharing my screen. So Hollywood Squares, we can see everybody. I can't thank you enough in the middle of a Wednesday. It's not an ideal time that you've taken the time to be with us today, and trust that this group is going to continue helping us move forward. You're the future of NAP. I'm excited because you're all here. I think you're an outstanding group. I can't tell you how excited this is to have you here. And I look forward to personally, I would tell you one of my things was going to be in March is to personally shake every one of your hands. Now with COVID, it would have been a fist bump or something on top of it, but I didn't get to do any of that. So this is the closest I get, is to giving everybody a virtual hug, but getting a chance to meet all of you in person. And I so look forward to doing that. So we'll let you know when the next one will be. Hopefully it will not collide with when all the schools are starting for those of you who are educators. for those who all of your practices are opening and now you're in full swing and trying to figure it out, we'll try to figure out a time that works. And sometimes it appears Friday afternoon is a good time for people. They actually slow down and they actually have a great time. So thank you to all of our council members and our EC members who joined today. I so appreciate that as well. Stay safe, stay well, and take care of yourselves. It's important. Bye-bye now.